And so with that being said, let's move straight into the presentation for this. I know, Mark, I think you're going to kick it off with a little presentation first, and
Yes.
then we'll dive straight into the demo.
Joanne, do you want to share the PowerPoint, please?
Yep, absolutely.
Yes. I'm
And
setting you
then
up, Joanne. You should be able to share now.
before we begin, but let's get that PowerPoint up.
There we go.
So let's start at the first. Is this the first slide?
This is just the agenda, so we can cover that.
If you could stay there for a minute, Joe, that'd be great. So again, my name is Mark Nesson, and it's my pleasure to be here today with all of you guys on the phone. As you know, I've been at IBI, TIPCO, whatever you want to call it, but IBI now for a long time. And I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of our customers, most of all of our enterprise customers, as well as, enterprise, as well as departmental, etc. And a little bit about how this came about, right? I think a little background is needed here. So, as you know, we have the best reporting server that runs pretty much platform agnostic. But today we're going to talk about IBM Z. So we have the reporting server that runs on the mainframe, right? And has been rewritten to take advantage of the specialty engines that IBM offers, the zip and the zap. And we can leverage those general purpose CPs to do and handle and pass the workload to them where applicable. So everybody's always concerned about the general purpose CP that runs and wants to get the work off of the general purpose CP. And we have a product that can do that. And I will show that later. I'm actually going to do pretty much everything live. And please bear with me because we're going against the mainframe server that everybody's using. So if it's a little slow, it's not normally that way. But in the situation we're in today, you may see some sluggishness, but I'd rather do it live than do a recording. So what everybody wants is they want this real-time mainframe data, right? Which consists of, could be DB2, VSAM, flat files, Supra, Model 204, you name it. And they want to leverage the mainframe. Why? The mainframe has great security, right? RACF, ACF2, top secret, one of those three that are available. And using the Open Data Hub for mainframe can leverage all of the security you have today, especially if you're already using Focus and or a web focus server on the mainframe. We can leverage all the metadata that you've built and spent over years creating and allowing, again, web focus to get at the data, as well as other visualization tools. So when I go through the demo, I'm going to show a little one I built in Web Focus, a little one I built in Power BI, blah, 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 etc. And I will show you that. The benefits of the Open Data Hub for mainframe is you don't have to move the data, right? People spend a plethora of money creating ways to move data, ETL products, tools, take it from here, put it on Linux, put it in Postgres, put it in SQL Server. You have the option to leverage that data right there on the mainframe. And what do people call that? Operational data, right? Because as soon as you move it, it may be in flux and you have, different data than what you had 5 minutes ago. So we want to show that. We're going to talk about that. We run on pretty much all versions of ZOS that is out there today. And we also put into the product many unique features, the ability to run Resource Analyzer and Enterprise Usage Monitor to show you what's going on the mainframe, right? So people say, well, Mark, we have not only web focus that we love, but we have areas of people that are using Tableau or Power BI and would love to get at that mainframe. And they want to know who's using that, what product is using the mainframe, right? Is it Tableau? Is it Power BI? And we would also love to get metrics. Everybody wants metrics. And we built that in to the Open Data Hub to get all types of metrics, which you'll see later. And then I'll do a demonstration. We'll talk about some use cases, and then we'll pass it to Tim, how Amtex can get you started, and questions and answers. So please, if there's questions, please post them throughout. I probably won't look at them, but we can go through them, and Steve and Joanne and Tim can all take those questions as we go forward. Okay, Joe. So Open Data Hub for Mainframe, it's out there on the market, right? We have a number of customers interested. We have about 4 sales already. It just went live, and people are dying to get at their mainframe data from not only web focus, but different visualization tools, which you'll see. So think about your organization, right? You're probably using web focus today, but you might have areas of people using Power BI or Tableau or Click or whatever it may be, and want to get at mainframe data. So we combine data sources from IBM Z and cloud systems without ETL, and we're utilizing your IBM Z data. Again, platform agnostic, right? We're going to be using the mainframe, and eventually we may offer the Open Data Hub for other different platforms. But right now, initially, it's for the mainframe. So you don't want to compromise your data either, right? The mainframe processors, as you know, is the fastest processor out there today. It's running about 5.6 gigahertz. Think about that. You're running on a PC or Linux box, running with an Intel chip, probably running 2.8 gigahertz. The speed is going to be amazing. Next, Joe. Right? Exploits the full power of the mainframe, right? So we use those specialty engines like I mentioned, and I will show you an example of that. Hearing the buzz, Bloomberg posted about the mainframe, and like I said, all of our customers that have mainframe want to look at this, right? How do we get IBI Open Data Hub in our environment, and how do we configure it and get it going? If you already have a web-focused server, you can utilize that same server or just install another started task or batch command, because we want to run with 922, the latest that's out there. In this scenario and topology, there's no web-focused client in the picture unless you're using web focus. So if you're using Power BI, you would install a little stub that we provide that could be installed on a network on your machine, and it allows you to connect these tools via ODBC or JDBC to the mainframe and get your data. And don't think JDBC or ODBC is old. I will tell you, Microsoft, Tableau, and all these other products use ODBC to get to the data. And we took it a step further. What do you mean, Mark? Well, imagine this. We'll talk Power BI, right? So Power BI allows you to connect in 2 modes, a direct query mode or just a query mode. The query mode brings the data back to the cache for Power BI. And then you could refresh that data. Or direct query, you're going to see an example today. Some of the stuff that I put together with Power BI allows you to only get the data when you request it, getting the operational real-time data. Next, Joe. So Z, again, stands for zero downtime, mission-critical apps. And I know a lot of you have definitely mission-critical apps. Again, the fastest processor to handle large amounts of data and even small amounts of data. The different security packages. The mainframe systems remain the choice of enterprise customer in a lot of different areas. So even though you hear, oh, mainframe's going away, it's not going away. People are making their lives, money, and business out of still getting data from the mainframe. And that's what we want and why we put the Open Data Hub for Mainframe available for all of our customers. Okay, Joe? So you can leverage your investment. You've created metadata over the years and you have it available against whatever. You know, you could be using DSAM, IMS, whatever. Leverage them, the master files, and put them in the Open Data Hub server on the mainframe. We can also run procedures. So if you built folk execs and procedures from Power BI, you can go in and run that same procedure that you have today. Imagine that. Wait a minute. You're saying, Mark, I know from what focus we can do that, but I'm telling you from Power BI, we can leverage those procedures that have a lot of complex logic and want to bring data back. We have native adapters for all mainframe data sources. And again, it does not require you to move anything. Okay, Joe? Again, the reporting server uses code native to System Z or IBM Z, whatever you want to topology you want to call it. We utilize those specialty engines that are a lot cheaper and are more valuable to all of our customers. We take a lot of the work off the general purpose CP, and we support current and back releases as the OS. So if you have a web focused server running at 9.0, again, I would recommend 9.2. You can run that in parallel. Again, just another batch job or started task. Okay, Joe? Security and reliability, as you know, right? Again, a picture of this depicts what we can do. The general purpose processor, and then we'll pass the workload onto the zips. So this is money savings for all of our customers. What do you mean, Mark? I'm telling you that a majority, at least probably 50 to 60 to 70% of the work will run on those specialty zip engines. And those zip engines run faster than the general purpose CP. So let's say the general purpose CP is running at 4 gigahertz. These zips will run at 5.2. And you'll see actual jobs running. I ran some load simulation tests where I ran it without the zip, and it took, say, I don't know, let's say a minute, 20 seconds. With the zip, it took 18 seconds using the zip engines. And that's just the setting in our server profile. Okay, next, Joe. Again, usage monitor. The usage monitor that I put out years ago actually runs there as well. So you would turn on Resource Analyzer and or optional Resource Governor, right? So Resource Analyzer is going to give you all the reports that you want to have. Also built into UM is the new chargeback strategy. Think about this, right? Everybody knows managers are saying, well, who's running what? You sit there and go, I don't know. Now you can go in and say, oh, these are my Tableau users. They're consuming 30% of the CPU. There's 100 users coming in. For Power BI, there may be 200 users. And we'll show some of that later. There's also Governor, the brother to Resource Analyzer, that will allow you to protect the system on a preemptive basis from running queries before they start. And you would build those rules. So you can say, you know, Mark Nesson could be an omnipotent user. He can run anything, but we'll let Joanne only run certain things as long as you don't consume too much CPU. But again, it's a preemptive governor. And we show reports on who was turned away for whatever reason, thus allowing you to grow your environment. Who's running this? Why are they running it? What do they need? You could also go back to say that Dinesh ran 1,000 requests and Joanne ran 5. Well, let's talk to Dinesh and see what he likes about the applications, right? You'll now have information and feedback to go back to people to say, what is it and what is the value buying you when you're using this product? Okay, Joe, next. Notice here that encapsulated the different users like Tableau or Power BI, and I'm showing CPU time, the users, all of that, right? I also have a blog in there. If you want to blog and say, hey, Mark, check out this report. Why it's hardly using any CPU? Well, it may be IO bound, but again, the ability to share information is critical. Next, Joe. Again, response times, request by user, all the information. If you see down about halfway to the bottom, it also shows how many requests the users ran, right? They ran 1,000 Power BI reports. And I'll tell you what I give you. I give you the CPU time, the database time, the server time, the average response time, the median response time, and the maximum. A number of customers wanted me to add that to usage monitor reporting. They wanted that information very granular, and it's there and part of the product today. Okay, next, Joe. Again, usage monitoring and reporting, system resource utilization over time. How much CPU are we using? How much memory are we using? All of this is available by just turning on Resource Analyzer, and this reads the RML data file and produces these reports, right? Information dissemination, a key to success. Next, Joe. Right? We can do selection criteria, joins, it'll show us who's doing sorts, most active queries, time of the day, CPU utilization, and again, that governor thresholds and chargeback strategy. Also, the ability from here to look at the request that was run. So what are you saying, Mark? I'm saying that as a query ran, you could go back and look at what the code was after the fact. Well, this one took, let's say a minute. Well, where's the time being spent? Is it in the database or is it in the reporting server, the Open Data Hub server? You can ascertain all that information. Okay, Joe? Typically, a mainframe look and feel looks like this. Oh my God, you log in the green screen, you do what you gotta do. Nobody wants to use this. So we move ahead, Joe, to the next slide, and we create all type of GUI reports, all type of visualizations. And you know how when you use Web Focus, you connect to the server, it will show you an app list of all the application folders. Well, I'm going to show you after, when I use Power BI, it's going to show you the same things. And then you build your query. If you know Power BI, we'll go through one after, and it's going to build a beautiful report that you could run and share them with other users in your environment. We want to extend the use of the mainframe with these specialty engines, our specialty code, and allowing you to share different areas in your environment or different type of developers. Like I said, there's a lot of people today that know Power BI. Mark, my daughter's working 2 years out of college. Dad, everybody uses Power BI here, but they don't and cannot get at the mainframe data and would use it. Not that you couldn't use Web Focus, but you can leverage that expertise these people bring in from the current environment. Okay, Joe? So again, use cases and benefits. Many customers have Web Focus alongside of Power BI and other tools. So if you go back and you look at your environment, if you're only using Web Focus, I believe there are other BI tools in the environment. It cements the IBI technology as critical for all reporting and BI. Again, you've already spent time building the metadata. You've done all the hard work. Now you're going to expose all of this to other tools, right? Customers who have made a decision to migrate off of the mainframe environment, benefits, right? No need to ETL. Go back and find out what's it's costing you to move all this data. How many people are involved there? Data can be accessed in place if you want, right? I mean, if you want to move it, that's fine too. But again, we want to allow you and other products to get at this mainframe-based processing for transactions. No need to modify anything. And again, what I think, with Tim and his team's expertise and Dinesh, this really is probably a 2-day POC at most. If you have thoughts about this and want to move forward with it, it's that easy to go. Everybody's probably at nine something, right? Again, we can use 9.1, but I'd rather use 9.2 for all the bells and whistles that we have. Again, the ability to cluster those mainframe servers if you need it. And again, one could run at a lower priority than the other one. So you can help control what the customers are getting or your users are getting, right? Again, on this thing, I can't see, but how many people out of the participants are running web focus? If you can just get a count, Tim, how many are running web focus?
Yes. So I think the best thing we do still have is the hands up. So if you're using web focus, can you give us on the mainframe, can you give us a raise the hand? I'm not seeing anybody yet. Everybody may have.
There's a couple of people that raised their hand.
Is there? Am I okay? I see one, but I don't. Okay, Donald,
and then there was another one that forget it, Brian, I think.
Brian, yeah.
Good. And I'm sure there's more. I know some people don't like to be put under the gun from me, and I apologize for that. But it's always good to get an idea of what we're using. Joe, next slide. And now we'll have
the point where Q&A, and then I'll hand it back to Tim, and then we'll do Q&A. Perfect.
Yeah, and I'm going to go through mine really quick, but I do want to kind of briefly just enjoy. I think if you make me host again,
okay.
Otherwise, I will never be the host with the most. That will always be you.
Again, Tim.
All right. That's all I've got for today. I think we ended right at the top of the hour. Appreciate everybody's time today.
Yes, thank you very much for attending.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.